Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. As we know, we just recently got what I guess would be the whole mid-season update for Warzone, even though this was a mid-season update, unlike most of them that we've seen before. This one didn't really have a ton of new content or major updates like that, but what it did have was some weapon tuning, targeted specifically at a lot of those weapons that I guess have been sort of overwhelming the meta lately. The DMR, the Type 63, the Diamattis, and since those were nerfed, kind of, the meta is beginning to shift away from those, and it's beginning to expand to, honestly, a pretty good place. And so today we're going over the top 5 best loadouts to be using after the mid-season update. So if you enjoy the video at any point, or if you find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new to the channel, or if you're not already subscribed, apparently over 60% of you guys watching the vids aren't subbed to the channel. So if you want to stay on top of pretty much everything going on in COD, this is the place to be, so feel free to subscribe and maybe even turn on those post notifications. Now, let's talk about the new best loadouts. What are the go-to setups and the go-to weapons right now? And, well, to start things off, we have a bit of a throwback class that is now a lot more viable. This one is all about the Modern Warfare M4A1 and the Modern Warfare MP5. These are, of course, two weapons that have been really consistent all year long. The M4A1 was never like the top #1 weapon, but it was always a top contender throughout most of the year. Now it is still just as good. Then the MP5 was the best secondary throughout a lot of the years, so when you combine these two weapons into one loadout, yeah, you're gonna have a good time. You've got all the ranges covered. Close range, either weapon can do well. Medium range, obviously the M4 can really take over. And if you're accurate enough and if your player tracking is pretty decent, it can also be really good there too. Then the MP5 has the mobility, it's got the control, it's got the damage, it's pretty much got it all. No surprise there though, we've known that since Warzone released. Now on the M4A1, I'm rocking the monolithic suppressor for all the usual reasons, nothing new there. We've got the Corvus custom barrel, which extends that range and increases the control, but it's not going to slow down the weapon as much as the M16 barrel would. I've got the Commando foregrip on there for better control, the 60 round mags for easier wipes and cleanups, and finally the stippled grip tape for better mobility. Then for the MP5, pretty much same old here. We've got the monolithic integral suppressor for better range and to keep me off the minimap, the Merc foregrip for better control, the 45 round mags, the stippled grip tape once more, then also sleight of hand as well for a faster reload. Now, when it comes to the perks and equipment, as always, this stuff stays the same on every single one of my loadouts, so we're just gonna go over it once here, and I run EOD, Overkill, and Amped to start off. Whenever we get that second loadout, I swap out Overkill for Ghost. Then I also run the Semtex and the heartbeat sensor on there too. Now, moving on into the next setup, this one is all about the AS VAL and the Kar98k. And the Kar98k has been a pretty frequent choice in a lot of my loadout videos over the past year or so. Without a doubt, I think this is the best sniper in the game because it can just drop people left, right, and center with the one-shot headshots. You gotta learn the bullet drop, and then after that, you're golden. It's also super mobile, so it's great for aggressive sniping too. But then we've got the AS VAL, which is, I guess, kind of a new addition to the best loadouts in the game, and for what it's worth, it's definitely not the most convenient weapon that we've got on the list here today, but if you know how to use it, if you can master it, it is actually the fastest killing weapon in the game. It has the best TTK out of any gun we have, so it is going to shred. It is going to fry everyone and anyone, but like I said, it does take some getting used to. It's got that smaller magazine, which can be kind of annoying, and it's got a bit of recoil that really is not super ideal. Past that though, this thing is a spicy meatball, 110%. Now first up on the VAL, I've got the OSA or the OSA barrel for better range and control. I've got the Merc foregrip because I do kind of use this like an SMG, however, the Ranger grip also works pretty well too. I've got the 30 round mags because that's the biggest choice we have, the rubberized grip for some recoil control, then either the tac laser for some better stability or the Strelok or the Strelok stock for better control. The tac laser is probably better for some more aggressive players. If you really like to use this as an SMG up close and personal, that might be the better way to go just because it is going to add in some more mobility. But then the Strelok or the Strelok, however it's pronounced, is probably better for more versatility, so just take that as you will. Then for the Kar, this is pretty much the standard setup per usual. We've got the monolithic suppressor, the 27.6-inch barrel, the tac laser, the variable zoom scope, which is just preference for me honestly, then also the Stippy Grippy, the icon itself, for better mobility as well. Now, getting into loadout number 3, this one features the CR56 AMAX, then also the MAC-10 from Cold War. But for what it's worth, you could also trade out that MAC-10 for any of the other secondaries that we're running today. The MP5 works. Honestly, both do actually. You've got some good options here for sure, but the AMAX, I think, is going to be the new best weapon in the game in general once everything is fully balanced, let's say. The TTK on the AMAX over range just is not beatable when you're landing your shots. Now, of course, the recoil here is what sort of balances it out a bit because it is harder to land your shots, so you're almost playing like a bit more high risk, high reward. But man, this thing just melts everyone. It hits like a truck, easily the best rifle that we've got in the game. Then the MAC-10 is just a super nice competitive SMG. It's pretty similar to the MP5s. It's aggressive, great for close range fights, minimal recoil on there too. So all around, it's really fun to use and it's pretty easy to use too. So here on the AMAX, I've got the monolithic suppressor, the Zodiac barrel, the commando foregrip, the 45 round mags, and then also the VAL 3x optic for that increased visibility and also better control too. And then on the MAC-10, I'm running the agency silencer, the Ranger barrel for better velocity, either the field agent grip or the bruiser grip. Both of those are going to reduce your recoil just by, I guess, varying amounts. The 53 round fast mag is on there too. Then finally, I've got that SAS combat stock for better mobility. Then after that, we've got the Ram 7 and the Cold War MP5. And again, you could always trade out that Cold War MP5 for the car or even another SMG, but this is a loadout that is going to rock players in any kind of gunfight, honestly. The TTK between these two weapons is phenomenal. The Ram 7 is a beast across the board with its faster fire rate and also it's pretty good mobility for an AR. Then the Cold War MP5 is actually the best SMG in the game when it comes to damage and time to kill overall. Up close, it's great, and even over range, while obviously it does drop off some, it can still hold its own. So both of these, at the end of the day, are fantastic choices. Now on the Ram, I've got the monolithic suppressor, the Ranger barrel for better range and control, the commando foregrip, the 50 round mags, then also the VAL 3x optic. And on the Cold War MP5, I'm running the agency suppressor, the Ranger barrel, the bruiser grip for better control, the 50 round drum, and then also the SAS combat stock. Now, loadout number 5 is all about the FFAR and the Kar98k. And this is honestly one of my new favorite classes, I think. It's very similar to the Modern Warfare MP7 and the Kar mixed together, but it is a bit more powerful when you're not sniping. Obviously, the FFAR is a bit stronger than the MP7. In fact, the FFAR has some insane damage up close and honestly in any range for that matter, but of course, it is a bit harder to control at a distance, which is then where the sniper would come into play. But the FFAR, the FAMAS, is basically one of the best run and gun weapons we have right now, and I would highly, highly recommend trying it out. So here I've got the agency suppressor, the task force barrel because it actually works here, surprise, surprise. I've also got the bruiser grip, the 50 round fast mag, and then finally the SAS combat stock for that better mobility. Now, I do have an unfortunate honorable mention, let's call it today, and that of course is the DMR. I'm sure some of you were sitting here watching this going, Zach, where's the DMR? I'm still getting beamed by it, and hey, same. Because even though the DMR was nerfed, it is still one of the better weapons in the game for those close and medium range fights. Long range, it's definitely not as good as it was before, but it can and will still drop bodies in a lot of those medium range fights and closer range fights. And there's really no change in my setup here. I'm using agency silencer, the titanium barrel. I'm still rocking the field agent grip, but I do think bruiser is viable too. Then I've got the 30 round speed mag and the 3x optic. But that said, I do have a feeling this could end up getting one more nerf here soon, which is why it is only an honorable mention in this video. Overall though, I will say, I do think the meta is headed towards the best place it's ever been in. I don't know if it's necessarily quite there yet. The DMR is still, sitting there lingering. It's not dying quite yet. But once it does, I do think the meta is going to be in the best place it's ever been. We've got a lot of very viable ARs. We've got some viable SMGs, some good LMGs, a few snipers. And honestly, I think that's great. I want this meta to be in a very expansive place. Right now, it's getting there. Like I said, I think we need a couple more updates and it's going to be in a really cool place. But yeah, there you have it. With all of that being said, those are the new best weapons and the best loadouts to run after the mid-season update here in Warzone. And that is going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video or if you found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here and you want to stay up to date with pretty much everything going on in COD, from news to intel to updates to setups and everything else in between, this is the place to be. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal for a spicy discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, and Control Freak products. and the links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.